going off beep 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 all over the hall.
Attention, everybody. The views and opinions expressed on the show are not necessarily those of Acts Ministry, Acts Media Group, and or their affiliate and subordinate ministries and or nonprofits. Now that Steve's done talking.
I am so sorry.
No, it was
I was
funny.
talking too.
No, I had the audio on for a few seconds there. Anyway,
I love you folks out there in Radio Land.
Good morning. Coming to you live from Acts Media Group headquarters here in beautiful Springfield, Missouri. It's The Morning Drive with Matt and Jay with your hosts, Matt and Jay, Steve, and Troy, and Tana Man back in the Peanut Gallery.
Yeah, there's Tana Man.
Beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Thank goodness.
I tell you what, allergies are no fun.
No, they're not.
Gallery. It's appropriately named.
You got to hold that pretty close to your mouth.
We get those complimentary packaged peanuts that you get on airlines.
Sure.
Back here.
I'll get right on that.
I try to. I make a game of throwing them at people on the show.
Oh, that's
See if I can hit them and get different amounts of points.
that's nuts. All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Drive with Matt and Jay. My name is Matt.
My name is Jay.
My name's Steve.
Enjoy.
We're glad, and you are.
I'm Tanner.
We're glad to have everybody on board
The
with us
man
today.
behind the mic.
So,
The Peanut Gallery.
the Peanut Gallery.
Peanut Gallery.
The Peanut Gallery.
We just hang up a bunch of peanuts on the wall.
When you start having peanuts, are
From
laughing.
over yonder.
We just call it gallery.
I was watching it. I was looking at this picture, and it was there was a pineapple. It was at an art. It was at an art, whatever you call it.
Gallery.
An art gallery, but it was like a expo, like
Display.
where they had like all these different things from different people,
Mm-hmm.
and these guys.
Expo.
These guys went in and they set this pineapple up on this empty pedestal, just to see if how long it would take them to realize it's not art. And then they came back the next day.
It is,
and
though.
well, it wasn't to them. They just put it up there to see how long they keep it there. And they came in the next day, and it was covered with a glass box. So art.
Yes.
I've seen these art things where it's like people pay thousands upon thousands of dollars for like a black line right down the middle of a big white. Yeah.
Art can be really, really discreet or
I
weird.
would argue some of that stuff really is art.
Yeah.
And it takes sometimes a minute to appreciate it for what it is. Like, for instance, if you look at, was it Van Gogh? The one who had the really weird representations of
Yes.
stuff. He did the sunflower series and stuff. Well, I hated that art for so long. I liked the Renaissance, realistic looking paintings, almost photographic. They would
Yeah,
do,
he was abstract. I
they would
think.
do hundreds of layers of thinned out paint to create the shadowing and the bodies and the scene, the scenery,
Yeah.
the landscape, and it was so beautiful. And so I hated those pictures. But then I saw a series on it, and I looked a lot closer at those things, and it's really quite beautiful, actually, and it's amazing
Textured
the
too.
creativity that came from that man to do something like that had never been done, and to do it so well when you get to look closely at this stuff. And I think sometimes something like just a black line can strike you.
Yeah.
Good
There's
morning,
hope,
John Boynton.
there's hope for people like me who want to be artists who can just put a dot in a box.
You want my
Yeah.
opinion? My friend John wants my opinion on art.
I think sometimes it depends on the title too. You
Really?
know?
Then Mona Lisa is actually probably the most popular one that I can think of.
I'm a
And so-
huge. I like the Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
The Mona Lisa. I think there's a story. Isn't there a story behind the painting of Mona Lisa and why she?
There's a lot of
there's-
conjecture.
Yeah, because there's a
Yes.
lot of different.
They've
re-
tried to
stories
replicate her smile, and nobody's been able to do it.
They wonder
And-
what her smile indicated.
Right.
What does a person's state of mind and
Right.
emotional state say
And
about them when they make
And
it?
unfortunately, a lot of people stage movies, TV shows have showed Mona Lisa, but in a comical way, and who knows? She might have been very, depressed, in a depressed state. We don't know.
She might have known something we don't know.
Yeah.
So
It may have been a smile that was like You know,
It could have been she'd been standing there for hours.
The way
and
she was
just
looking
had
out
to
of the-
stop.
corner
I mean,
of her eye.
She had been standing there for hours to get that. Picture.
Maybe he said a dad joke, and that was like the most laugh that he could get out of her.
Yeah. So, my opinion on art, John, is that it can make you real happy. I mean, just looking at the art and you're studying the art, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes other than if
That's
it
part
looks
of
like
it.
it's really just a bunch of splatter. You don't know if he's been depressed and he's just trying to throw colors out there to kind of give you an idea.
I think it's somehow you do project yourself into it and wonder what it would be that would bring that smile to your face. You know what I mean? Or that. So you start to wonder, what would it be? What would it take? And I think that's part of the beauty of art.
Right. So how was that, John? Did that? I mean,
Well, art is what you make it, really. It's
Really?
in the eye of the beholder,
It really is. Yeah.
right?
Well,
I mean-
but it is to a point. There are like there is art that is just amazingly done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you look at those paintings that are photographic. I mean, people and spent who knows how many hours doing them. You can say that's well done, whether you like it or not. It's well done.
Yeah.
You know.
So what are you up to today, Troy? How you doing? You're pretty quiet today. Are you tired?
No, I'm listening.
Tired?
soaking things in.
Yes, I'm the soaker.
Well,
No, I'm actually learning this. I'm trying to get this all down so that in a couple weeks or maybe a month or 2 months and
I don't know if
3
it's going to be
months,
that
4
one.
months.
You're not that slow of a
3
learner.
months.
5
No,
months. I told
You're
him I
not
was
that slow of a
slow.
learner, I hope.
I told him I was slow, so you know how it is with
You're
slow people.
You're slow.
Contrary to his actions, I don't think you're slow. I think once I start having you operate it, you'll pick up on it pretty quick.
You learn by
Out of
doing.
necessity, yeah.
Yeah.
You learn by doing.
Well, hands-on. I mean, I'm a hands-on guy. I have ADHD, and I'm a hands-on guy. And you obviously have ADHD as well. So
Oh, thank you.
hands-on.
You're welcome.
Well, so do you.
Well, there's no offense taken. I hope you
No,
don't
but
take offense.
ADHD. I used to go to classes for that.
Did you?
Yeah, right over here at in Bolivar, and then here in town.
I don't have a PhD.
called
I have
Chad.
ADD.
It's a good organization. It's called Chad.
Well, it must have been a good class
It's a
because you
guy-
got it down.
Well, no, it's like, and then they have,
I'm just
it's like
that was
people
her.
who get together with
Thank
with
you, buddy.
adults and children who have ADHD. Called
was-
Chad.
I was teasing you, making that joke.
Adult ADHD is a real thing,
It's a real thing, man.
Well, good
It
morning,
is.
Rob
and
Jenkins.
some people do have to take medicine for it.
I do.
Nice talking to you last night.
And
when it
then-
becomes
Good morning, Larry.
when it inhibits your ability.
no,
to
the
function.
medicine they give you though, it makes you feel like you're on this morning allergy medicine. You know, like,
Yeah, my allergies are going.
there.
and you're like
nuts
this on the
today.
highway.
Oh, you can't do that.
Oh,
Yeah, you
no.
can't
No.
do that on the air either.
That does
Oh.
not make a
That,
good
that
highway
would really be
experience.
bad.
Doesn't
Oh,
make
yeah.
for good radio either. We've
No.
tried it
Yeah, we have tried it.
a couple of times. We've been sitting. Both Jay and I are both like,
And it was a long study.
oh yeah.
We've got
Yeah.
results.
Usually on Wednesdays
hours
when,
later they
when
wake
Steve
up.
Schultz was there, I mean,
Yeah.
Jay and I both would be going, doing the whole where your eyes kind of cross and one eyelid
Roll
closes
back in your
before the
head.
other one does. You know what I'm talking about? We're just like,
You can't see straight.
it's like, wow, oh yeah, what'd you say?
And
And you
I'm
know
sure
you're falling
Steve
asleep.
has a few comments, right?
Yeah,
You know
But he
you're
never-
falling asleep. There's nothing you can do
no,
till your head goes.
yeah, those
Then
are. I was working at a fast food restaurant that serves ice cream predominantly, and when I was 16, and there was one of those days I was just really tired, and I was trying to almost falling asleep standing up. I'm standing behind the register, and I'm just standing there. There's no people there yet. I'm waiting for them to come in. Everything else is cleaned up and stuff, and I'm just really fighting going to sleep. And all of a sudden, right before my head almost hit my register, I hear my boss say, "Wake up, Matt!" And I'm like literally like this, "Wake up, Matt!" It was that was fun, wasn't it?
Well,
Are you a
try being a
ventriloquist?
corrections officer and doing the same thing.
Am I a ventriloquist? I don't know. Am I ventriloquist?
I was a corrections officer, and it was a late, I think, afternoon shift, and it was like 11 o'clock at night. Well, I had already had a headache. Well, I went to the pharmacy. This is so funny. I went to the pharmacy, and they have trustees working behind the counter, giving you medicines, and well, I don't know what they gave me, but it was a night pill.
It's probably something like Ativan. or something
And
like
so I got back to my station. I'm sitting there after my tour, and all of a sudden I felt myself doing this, and I'm like, oh, I'll be okay. Next thing I know, I my partner goes, boom, took a book or something. I went, whoa, and he's like, you tired? I was like, no, I mean, I don't know. I had a headache and I took a pill, and where'd you get the pill from? I said pharmacy, and he started laughing. He goes, those guys tricked you. They gave you a sleeping pill is what they gave you.
Yeah, that's pretty scary.
And
Yeah.
so I was like, oh, man.
That's a
So
pharmacy that should be
I-
shut down.
Yeah,
Yeah, no kidding.
I didn't get in trouble, but it was just like, maybe you should take
Probably
the
a
rest of the night
Tylenol
off.
PM or something. Those will definitely put you to sleep.
Yes, they will.
Well, I mean that and Benadryl.
Yeah, I don't
Benadryl.
know. I don't remember. It happened so long ago. I don't remember what it was, but I learned my lesson. And of course, being a security guard, same thing. When you're in a building all by yourself, in a corporate office or a corporate building, you feel yourself doing this. I've stood up and ran into furniture, literally.
I hate where like you're walking and like you just kind of are dragging yourself against the wall. You don't even realize it. You just kind of you're just walking. All of a sudden you're like, and you don't even really try to fix it. You're just like
Yeah.
Or you walk into a desk and all of a sudden,
done that at Jay's house years ago. Jay's done that a couple times where you just like it's sleepiness is definitely a part of life. I'm going through that right now as we speak.
good morning, Pam Wanning.
Sorry.
Yeah,
We
you
all
guys-
were checking our phones.
He
I
said the
was
word
looking at the
Pam
time.
whining and the whole world stops. Everybody goes,
What? she's watching.
yeah.
So today is Wednesday. So after our show today, we will have the new gold standard with Tony Hammock.
My man.
I don't think Asa, his son, is going to be here.
No, did he go back to school?
Yes, he's going back. To
I thought I heard last week where he was still here.
I don't know what that was. I was just talking. But Jay's doing the whole.
I didn't do anything.
I saw it on your phone, not on mine.
Good morning.
See, you guys weren't here whenever Jordan was here. Jordan and Jay were both sitting there
We
like
had a battle.
halfway through.
I
the
won,
show.
by the way.
Halfway through the show, just doing this. And I finally had to tell
Got
them
annoyed.
to stop.
Matt got annoyed.
Yeah, because I mean, people will people do that. I mean, yeah, I get it. You guys love the show; it's great.
We do love the
But
show.
some people are trying to watch the screen and they're like,
what
"What
is
is this
going
crap?"
on over here?
They don't like it.
What
Once
did-
or twice, yeah, that's fine. But in the entire time, that'll make people tune out.
Hey,
What will?
If you don't like it, then I don't like it.
No, and it wasn't. No, I don't mind it. I don't mind a big. What do you call that? Whenever you blast something like that, what is that?
Blast.
Oh,
Blast.
what do they call that?
Blast.
Spamming. When you spam it,
right.
spam them.
Spam. That was
Spam.
heart spam.
That's good stuff. No,
Yeah.
I'm just
I
kidding.
spammed you with my heart, Matt.
But Jordan would have done it the entire show.
I know I'm a
I
bad
know.
influence.
I know what spam they're talking about. I'm just
We
playing.
ain't talking about the fake.
I do
ham.
apologize. I will.
Oh no! Don't do it. That's fine. That's fine.
No, I'll do it.
just like the whole entire show. Just during.
No.
Hey,
Anyway, back
Yes. How things going
yeah,
between you
back
two
to
anyway?
farm.
Oh yeah, when we lived together, we really didn't argue at all. There was a couple times where we just had some like silent
Morning, Lisa
misunderstandings.
Tarver.
But that was about it.
And the
Listen,
sugar
Ann.
thing.
There's
you got-
sugar on the
I was-
floor.
but that was also first thing in the morning,
Yeah.
and I probably spilled coffee on top of the sugar and then stepped in the sugar coffee.
So it's
So that made me irritated
sweet
even
deal.
more. But and
and he
that
was like, don't spill sugar on the dang floor.
So
if you do, clean it up. And he's like, I didn't know I did. I said, you didn't know you spilled sugar on the floor. I was like so mad. I was so
and
mad.
I was like, no, I didn't. I opened because he had gotten on to me before
lid
about
to the-
about not filling the sugar sugar jar up, which is an old like diner style
dome
sugar-
top with the
you
little
know,
flap.
it doesn't. The lid never fits on the same way twice.
Yeah.
You know.
And it doesn't matter if you overfill it because
No.
the glass rim inside the lid holds sugar.
It holds sugar.
So you take it off and you
So
know
you
that.
tell me, hey, I got in there and the sugar was gone out of the thing. I'm like, okay, well, I'll make sure to fill it next time I use it. I filled it next time I use it, and then I got in trouble for spilling sugar on the floor.
Yes.
So
Yep.
And
that
whose,
was-
and whose place was it?
that was Jay's place.
It was our place, really. But
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
But
How dare you?
and that's the the thing is, and then
How long
after
did you
that-
live there?
I lived there for 5 years.
Was it that long?
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
good.
It seemed
Yeah, it was
longer
good.
at
5
times,
years.
though, didn't it?
No,
Oh,
not
yeah, we
really.
had great times.
I mean,
We had a great time. We did amazing things there.
yeah, we sat out on the porch all the time. That's where a lot of this conversation from the show came from, as we called it, front porch convo portion of the show.
Yep. Because we sit on the porch every day,
And we talk just like we're sitting on the porch talking.
just like this.
Exactly like this.
Yep. Let it
it-
roll in any direction, and
Yep. And
My nephew and I used to live together, and it was challenging at times, but we mostly had fun. But Dave he decided to bring his friends over at night, and some of them were female.
Dave brings his friends
And I-
over at night.
we had a rule against that. There was none of that. You couldn't. It was
Well,
not allowed.
I couldn't even get in my own house. I'm like, why can't I get in my own house? I'm knocking on the door,
Was-
and this female comes and opens up the door.
Oh boy, you know what would happen if that happened to me?
Yeah. Well, see, the thing was, and here was the
I
deal.
would kick that door down and take it off the hinges.
We considered it a recovery house.
Right.
So if you're drunk, don't come home. That was the rule. If you end up going out somewhere and getting drunk, don't come home until you're sober.
Yep.
Sleep out in the driveway or whatever.
We had most of the rules were pretty strictly enforced too. Like and that
Wipe the toilet whenever you're done
If
peeing.
it's against the rules and somebody's coming into the house with
Wipe
a
it
girl,
down.
forget it. I'll take your door off, and you'll come home, and that door will be burning in the yard.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you
it's-
won't have a bedroom door, and you won't put one back up. I'll take
No-
the door frame down if I have to.
no girlfriends in the room by yourself.
Yeah.
We had to hold each other accountable like that.
Yep.
That was good.
I think I did that one time. I took the door off my room and put one of them hippies
Curtains, the bead curtain.
The bead curtain
morning.
with the peace sign. Oh, dude, that was,
Good morning,
that was
Cindy
the coolest
Flowers.
thing, man. I died.
Cindy Flowers.
My mom said, "Take that down." I said, "Man,
She's
I'm
coming to
I'm
visit,
jiving, man,
aren't you,
man,
Cindy?
leave me alone." I said, I was
You were
sitting
probably like,
there jiving.
Mom, no, man. That's
Pretty cool.
groovy."
I did. I was jiving, man.
Did you have the black lights and stuff? The beads were cool with the black
beads
lights.
were cool with the black lights, and it was so cool. And then in my bedroom, I had a
There we are.
globe where you turn the light on underneath it.
See,
Oh, yeah.
when I was a teenager,
Those are
Lava
cool.
lamps.
Light
No,
of
yeah,
the
I didn't have one of
world.
those.
when I
I
was a
did.
teenager, they
It was
had
cool.
basements like that. So you'd go to buy drugs, and you'd go into a basement
there
that was
wasn't
all
drugs.
black lit with
Everybody
mattresses
tripping acid.
everywhere, red
Oh.
velvet hanging everywhere.
Oh,
Now, this is my
man,
bedroom.
those
It
bring
was a
back
real
the
thing. It
days.
was cool. It was pretty cool.
That brings
No.
back some
Are you
really cool
kidding?
days.
Yeah,
Lava
beanbag
lamps.
chairs.
Lava lamps in
You
every
know what?
room.
We in our community we didn't have alcohol. We didn't have drugs. In McPherson, we did not have the drug problem.
We had tons of it.
I mean, we grew up marijuana. Okay, I'll
It wasn't
be
a
honest
problem
with
for
you.
me. I
Marijuana.
loved it.
Everybody smoked marijuana. Even the
Back
teachers
then.
smoked marijuana. Come on, we're farm folks.
Right.
This is the 60s and 70s, guys.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
People did drugs in the 60s and 70s?
For me, it was
Wow.
the 80s, I
Oh
suppose.
Lord, have mercy.
But see, that's-
Free,
but that was
free,
a remnant.
What an
free.
acid trip.
Because nobody charged everything in high school. Nobody did anything.
What were you saying, Jay?
It was a remnant of a passing age, a passing generation. So for me to find myself in places like that when I was a teenager was very unusual because it was rare at
I
that
carried
point.
a 12-gauge shotgun and a rifle in my back window instead of so did everybody else.
Yeah.
All
I
my
remember
friends
those days.
carried guns, man.
Listening
Gun
to
racks
Jefferson
in the window.
Airplane.
The guy he bought a gun from
Earth,
carried
Wind,
one.
and Fire?
Can
from
you imagine a
SDS.
school shooting
Leonard
in those
Skinner.
days?
Oh, it would have been.
Yeah, I love
It
it.
would have been over quick.
It would be similar to that attempted
Hey.
shooting in the church in Texas.
But we all
yeah.
carried gun, but no, we didn't have the mentality to go and
They-
kill each other.
They eliminated
No.
the threat in 6
Come on.
seconds. I think is what it was. In 6 seconds.
Hey,
the threat was
John,
eliminated.
I'll be contacting you soon.
Oh no, John.
He's going to be on my show.
Boy,
Aren't you,
nowadays that would be a
John?
whole different picture.
Um,
Yeah.
And not to mention, the guns would be stolen out of the vehicles.
But nobody
never
took
be
them.
able to.
Nobody took them. We had a whole high school full parking lot full
Yeah,
of them.
yeah.
Both men and women.
Well, everybody knew everybody. So if
I
somebody
we
stole
all
your
knew
stuff,
each other.
I grew
It
up in the
ultimately
Northeast
Oh
really
and
my
I saw
God!
it.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
all grew up knowing each other.
Yeah.
It's actually illegal in some places to carry a gun in your
Now.
car.
It
Now.
is now.
not
It
here
is,
in Missouri.
yeah.
Not in Missouri.
Remember
But-
the speed traps in Virginia? Now I don't know if they still do, but
I do. I
the
remember
s-
speed traps in
speed
Virginia.
traps
I've never been
right
to Virginia.
by the border where they will
remember them.
actually, if you have your what do they call radar?
Radar
Detector.
detector?
Radar detect. If they
They
spot
could
you,
spot you and
they
take
will
it.
pull you over,
Yeah.
and they will pull that, and they will actually throw it down on the ground and smash it right in front of you and say, "Have a good day."
You know, I talked to a police officer about
That-
those
it's
at one time,
happened.
and he said, "Well, you know, the same company that you bought that designs and manufactures those laser and radar detectors also make our radar guns.
Radar guns.
And you think they're going to give you the better end of the deal?"
No way.
Said that it takes 3 or 5 seconds for your radar detector to pick up the fact that I'm clocking you on radar or laser detector. Said, but I can actually clock radar on you in half a second. So by the time you realize I'm clocking radar, he said, I've already got your radar.
See,
I've
that's
already
what
got
I
you on
have.
radar.
I've heard that too, and of course, my friend would put his ball cap over the radar detector on the dashboard, and I'm like, really? Is that really going to detect? I don't know. He never got stopped.
That's
but
why you carry a little app called the Scanner. Oh yeah, you know
Oh,
right
50
where they're at.
radio?
Yeah, you
yeah, but
know
this
right where
hap-
they're
this
at.
Happened
Well,
bef-
you know,
this happened before all the apps.
on
and
Google
before-
Maps, people put that in as
I
they're
do.
driving. They tap in speed
trap.
trap,
Boom.
and you can actually it
that's
shows
true.
them,
It shows you right
and
there.
then
we
it
can
asks
hit,
you,
yeah, it'll
is
show
it
you right
still
where-
there?
It
Yeah,
announces
yeah.
you.
It
Yeah.
announces
You
you.
know,
This
I-
is before all that happened. This is before all that was on the phone and all that stuff. So I don't know if Virginia still does it. I'm not saying anything bad about Virginia. I'm just saying that
Morning,
was like,
brother Glenn Schmuck.
Google
How-
Maps
like
does it
years
now.
ago.
What were you saying, Jay?
How do you guys feel like you're adjusting to the new age? I mean, don't you think things have changed so dramatically?
Oh man,
That the way I learned to be an adult and to be a man is actually, and to live in the world is changing. It's almost like going back to school because you're never really up to date on
Thanks,
everything.
Cindy, for the reminder.
Do you feel like it's kind of a hard adjustment and you're thinking, sometimes I think, I just don't want to, I really don't want to. I think I'll just rather, be unaware of what's going on with all this stuff because it's hard to keep up with.
yeah, oh yeah, and you can't trust any serious news media outlet.
I'm sorry, but Cindy just brought up something, and that's why I was laughing. I wasn't laughing at a serious thing that you were talking about.
Right.
Believe me.
Sure, likely story.
She reminded me of the Chuck E. Cheese and a VW mug that I had. Long story, I'll tell you.
Yeah, you'll have to
obviously
tell because okay, you start a story like that, you're gonna have to finish it eventually, because
Right.
that's got too much intrigue.
Go ahead.
Well, real quick before
Thanks, Cindy.
I'm gonna show him how I do this. All right, so you either use this right here. This is the bar right here, so you can. Well, sorry, this one right
John,
here.
I did read your story,
Can you-
brother,
can
and
you mute your-
praying for you, but you and I'll talk.
All right, so see how that goes down. You can click on that like you would a normal bar here, and go down to. And I've already got this made out on almost all. Well, on this one because they're a sponsor
Wow,
of this
you
show.
guys are actually watching a hands-on
All right.
training session
So
right
whatever
now.
numbers down here you hit, like if you hit this 4, it'll come up, and then okay. So today's show is brought to you by Ozark Mountain Craft Mall, 1940 Missouri 76. That's Country Music Boulevard in Branson, Missouri. 417-320-1221. Now, if you want to get rid of that, you can either click that 4 there again, or you can go up here and click this one, and that
was a
assigns it to
that
that
was a
number.
good segue
until
into that
you
commercial,
put something
wasn't
else,
it?
right? So if you want to come back
don't
up,
know.
you can just click that 4 again. But if you
Your sponsor.
click that
Your
off
sponsor.
and you want to
I
assign
didn't
it
see.
to a
I
different
didn't
one,
hear the segue.
it'll go there,
No,
and then that
just-
reassigns it.
I was wondering
I
about
think,
Chuck E. Cheese.
It still shows up there, but it'll also show up there
Definitely,
now too.
it worked.
Ozark Mountain Craft Mall. Now, hey,
Yes.
this is training. This is how we did this.
Speaking of Ozark Craft
I
Mall-
am going to show
Ozark-
you guys the. See, I clicked on that, and that brought this camera right up here, and that's for when I want to show people stuff. So, and then you just merge it on
Cindy.
over like this right here. All right, so this is the cup, the mug that I got, the tumbler that I got, custom made for me by Ozark Mountain Craft Mall and Steve Mickey Mac.
It said Ozark Mountain Craft Beer.
Did I say beer?
No, it said on here.
What?
The
Oh.
little, it
Ozark
said-
Mountain Crab Mall. See, it has my name on it, and this is a tumbler. It's stainless steel, and this is, I don't know what these run for, but they're customizable, and
She
so.
makes mugs,
How's long?
coffee mugs, and tumblers, and she does decals.
See how,
How long does
right
it
here?
take to go in there and get something like that?
This right here
I
is
think
the
2 or
previous
3
thing.
days because you got to let it sit.
So it'll just
it's an
bounce back and forth
apostille,
between the seats,
she
yeah.
told me it's an apostille. How you say that? It's a glaze
Yeah.
that she puts over it.
An
and
epoxy?
Epoxy. That's what it is.
And so then she'll
One
ship
more
it to
time.
you.
No, well, she can ship it to you, but it takes about 2 or 3
All right,
days
now-
for it to really dry. She wants to make sure.
You'll want
everything-
this
but
little
it-
piece up
that's
here.
what I've heard her tell
back up here,
people.
so when you merge
it takes
it at
2 or
the
3
end,
days, depending on the size of the
merge it
mug
over
and
there.
what you
So-
want on it.
You find
that
it,
one's really
that's
cool.
right there.
I like it.
Yeah, she's
just
got
tap on
Kansas
this
City
once.
Chiefs. I mean, she's got all these
And there we
different
go. Now it's ready.
models
When
and
you merge it
different
like
things.
that.
Whatever you want on that tumbler, she'll put together for you.
Yeah.
It's definitely custom made. She's got flags. She's got decals, and so you want to check out Ozark Craft Mall, and she's got 32 booths in there. I just ordered 1,000 honey sticks, so my honey sticks are coming in later.
He's
on
your
this
local honey dealer.
week. Yes, I'm a sweet dealer. Give us a buzz.
Hey man, he usually stands outside, like
Honey,
stores with
honey, and-
trench with a trench coat on,
Honey
and
for
he
the
goes up and he goes, "Hey Mac, you want to buy a honey stick?"
alms for the poor. He put on a pair of sunglasses here instead. Here's a honey stick.
Yeah. Like,
Jar full.
just go up and
Hey.
pretend to put something in there. You didn't put anything in there.
You need to
I
go
put
ahead.
hope in there.
You need to go ahead and register for Veterans Week and get your booth there and do the honey sticks at the day room.
That's already.
You
in
got
the
her down.
works.
Okay, right on. Get
Yeah.
that done.
It'd be sweet.
Hey.
It's one sweet deal.
Hey, we need to go ahead and as a ministry get our booth too for Acts Ministries. And go ahead and get our booth. Let's talk to Deborah. See if we can get a booth for our Acts Ministries for the day room. Okay, and we could probably do this live from there and interview our veterans.
Wouldn't that be cool?
I mean, if we could,
I don't know if
would
we
be cool.
really do the morning drive though. That's
No, we won't be
we
able
could
to
do
that.
our show.
We'd
from
have
there.
to do a pre-record. Well,
By
You'd
God,
have
all
to-
the people we know
What
that
you'd
come
have to
through
do
there.
is you'd have to record it on your phone or something,
Okay.
Yeah.
and then we turn it into
We got because we've got entertainment there all day long. We've got all kinds of folks that come through there, all over the world.
Cool.
Miss Missouri was there a few.
And then
couple
Steve will be
years
in the
ago.
parade too. See, that's coming up. We're there. Well,
He's going to be in a parade.
we're there every year. We're there every year. He's in the parade, and me and Belinda go, "Hey, Steve!" And he'll throw.
morning, Steve Schultz. What's going on with the Democratic convention? Pam asks.
Steve
Ugh.
Schultz, love to see you, buddy, in person.
I don't know
Democratic
exactly what's going on with the Democratic convention. I think.
Michelle Obama opened it up.
Oh, did she?
Yeah,
Okay.
she opened it up, and then Bernie Sanders,
Bernie Sanders.
feel the
All-star
burn.
lineup there.
Yeah.
All-star lineup. And then there was, I'm sure Joe Biden was there.
Oh, and yeah, they officially. By the way, I will tell you, they officially nominated him as the president of the United States. You know, they do that at the convention where they actually officially nominate. They did that last night.
I don't think that we're going to have a successful election if they do the mail-in ballot. I think
Nope.
that it will mean civil war.
Oh, I should have brought that
the
with
post
me, guys.
office is really
Nobody will
battling
accept
that.
the
By the way,
results of it.
The
Yeah,
post
because, I mean, they already
Either
have a
side.
hard enough time as it is, adding
Yeah.
hundreds of millions, of ballots.
And that may all be propaganda. They may have a good, safe, effective, and reliable way of doing it. But at this point, looking at what I'm seeing, how can
Honey
you trust the
bunches of
results of
sticks.
that?
Maybe what if you don't have an election? What if you don't have an election? You realize, oops, there's someone else and something in control of this.
Yeah, and that's what I'm afraid of. Is that somebody else has been in control of it for quite a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
I know that I filled out the right paperwork when I moved, handed it into the election committee people personally, and my address did not get corrected, and I was not allowed to vote. When I had handed that thing to the right person, filled out the right paperwork, handed it to the right person personally, and then I wasn't able to vote.
Yo, you're
You
the one
shouldn't
that
have-
told me that.
You shouldn't have to reveal what party you are with. For one thing, people change parties over time sometimes. And some people are moderates and all that stuff. You should not have to tell them what party you're with, because that just allows a person with bias to manipulate and to throw. I mean, they could throw all the Democrat ones away. They could throw all the Republican ones away. Who knows, who's in charge of taking that paper, entering that information in the right places so that you're legally able to vote where you are. I think those are serious problems that we have with our system. And would you trust making it digital? No. Somebody could hack the system and turn everything around, right? Change everything in it. So what's a reliable way to do it? And for one, it ought to be anonymous. I ought to not anonymous as in who I am, but anonymous as to who I'm affiliated with. When
Yeah,
I go
I
and
agree.
register to vote or change my address so that I can get the right information about where I can vote legally and all that stuff ought to be anonymous. I should not have to indicate at all what party I'm affiliated with, what my political biases are. I should not have to indicate that, because then the person you're handing to, their bias comes into play. And the crime for doing that, there's plausible deniability too. All they have to do is say, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what paperwork you're talking about. You never handed me nothing. And then what do you do?
Where does the independent? By the way, with the independents that are coming on, what do they call it? Green Party, the Independent. I've never heard of anybody winning an election from the. So why do they even?
Nobody. It's always been a Democrat or a Republican.
Right. I'm saying that. Yeah, I know, but what? Why do they think that they're going to win as an independent? It's good that they're allowing people like that to come in, but I've never heard of them even getting close to being nominated.
Well,
I
I don't know. See, and that's one of those things. I think that I think it would be good for candidates
Right.
shouldn't say whether they're Democrat or Republican. I mean, that would
I think
until
that'd be
after.
helpful.
Yeah. So that way you're voting on their ideals and their policies more than their party.
And and then the candidates aren't dictated to by the party of what they are supposed to do as talking
Right.
points. They can actually just
Talk about it.
creatively face the challenges of our country and give us viable solutions to the problems that we have.
Yeah.
And people can say, like the wall. Yeah, I think we need the wall. I think we need to stop illegal immigration. But at the same time, what about the people we at the time we needed workers. So we needed a better immigration system. Plus our country is founded on immigration. This
Good
country.
morning, Keith
And I know that you're a Native American and you don't accept any of that. You know what I mean? But you lost the war. I'm sorry. Well, I'm not sorry. I'm glad I'm here.
Lost what?
I'm glad
war?
I'm here. I mean, the Indians.
We didn't lose any war.
Right. Well, see, that's my point, though. But see, I'm here now, and I was born here, and I'm an American, and I think that immigration should be something that we should be approving of and
All
want.
of us as Americans.
Yeah.
Every other country in the world has an immigration policy.
Right.
And I'm not saying don't let immigrants in, because with this country is founded on immigrants, right?
Well,
this
it depends.
this country is a corporation too, and you're going to have to realize
Yeah.
once this
Well, it is.
corporation dies, then when we get a new king and a new kingdom, it'll all be changed. And I believe this year there's going to be no election. I believe this corporation is going to die. America is going to rise up again in the new republic. And I believe we're gonna see things happen. We're gonna see things change, and the church better get ready, because you're gonna only get 3 or 4 more years to get your act in order. The marriage supper of the Lamb is coming, because He's coming soon.
Amen.
And then when they take over, all hell's gonna break loose.
Well, it's inevitable that there's
The
some
Bible says
change about to come that's
Yeah.
not going to. Because, how do you trust
Aw,
the government?
Ashley.
You can't trust the government to do anything.
Never
Morning,
can.
Ashley.
We're a prime example of the government. We still can't look at the Sioux Nation. They want billions and billions and billions to give the Sioux Nation. It's been sitting there on the books since the wars that you were talking about earlier, and they say, no, we want our land. That's what's more important is the land. Forget your money don't mean nothing to us. It can go up in stock or value or down in stock and value. It doesn't matter. Our land is our land. It's sacred.
Well,
all right then.
we
Well-
got about a little over 10 minutes left.
No, and then that takes away, does it not? It just cuts out that whole idea of a Democrat or Republican. Or still, then you're back to being brothers again.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
morning,
we
Ashley.
do need to be closer to the people around us and to understand
Yeah.
that we're all human and we're all important.
Yeah.
And to treat each other with that vitality and that importance that we want to treat ourselves with.
Yeah, you know, my best friend when I came back from the service was a colored man. His name's Clark. He is out here post 639. He was one of the bartenders. He was one of the cooks, and that guy could cook. But him and I were separate. We could not separate us from, just learning and mentoring. And that's another thing was we need to start mentoring each other. And being part of this Acts ministry is mentoring each other. And if you need a mentor, call in and we'll help you. These 4 men will be glad to help you and mentor. We've all gone through things that it's gonna take us mentoring men and women both through this next year.
Yeah.
And then we'll be not like you said. We won't be Democrat, Republican, Independent. We'll all be back based on being
Brothers and sisters.
brothers and sisters in Christ.
Yeah, I mean,
Sorry,
I
was
see
reading
something
the-
has to happen because like I was talking about with the voter thing, what happened to me. Those stories are true stories. It's my story, so I know it's true. So those things make us lose heart in the government, make us feel like we are not a part of this thing the way they say they
Well,
we
did you
are.
see how I did with Matt the other day? I brought my tribal, and I did it with you. I'm a Native American. My vote goes toward my tribe, my sovereign nation. Well, I handed that thing to Matt and Pastor Paul, and I said, hey, could you fill this out for me? Now, anybody could take your vote and that little envelope and do all that stuff, same stuff I did to them, have him fill it out, not knowing who those people are, Really, seriously. You don't know them, and then all these people that they're going to be voting for, we don't know them.
Morning, Steph.
I'm losing faith in our systems, whether or not they're legitimate anymore.
And then we're going to pile in more money so that we're going to be able to do this, so the government can actually. Did you see on the news this morning where they're going to pile in more government to the United States Postal Service so they can get this all done?
Well, the Postal Service recently has actually said that they're going to withhold.
Yes, that's what I was trying to say earlier.
yes.
Yeah, they're going to be stopping that. And here's my thoughts on, and yeah, there is better ways to
Tanner and
conduct
the,
ourselves in
Pinnacle.
government, but there's no perfect way. So we have to have some sort of order, obviously. It's kind of like, okay, so by no means am I saying that the equivalent, that parents and government are the same, but there's an analogy to be seen in what I'm about to say. And that the Bible says to honor your parents, but your parents get things wrong too. It's because, look, you should never do anything that you're asked to do that dishonors God. But
Or your
God
government.
does recognize that order is essential. And to have even a basic order, even if you feel a little constrained, is better than having no order at all. And that's a very important thing to recognize as well. And I lean more conservative libertarian, and I am very much an advocate for as much liberty as possible, but I understand order is absolutely necessary.
Yeah, but how do you have order when you have no faith in justice anymore?
Well,
When
absolutely.
you feel like justice
Okay,
is
Tanner
out
for
of reach?
president.
Well, see, that's
2029, Tanner. Tanner.
I mean, I know I've considered getting into politics at some point in my life, but I think I'd have to sacrifice too much of my own morals in order to actually get in.
Right, what do you do?
Right, exactly. Like, how you actually gonna get it in without sacrificing your values? That's not something I'm willing to do.
Don't
And honestly,
sacrifice
I think you actually have to be in your 40s before you can run for
no,
president.
you
No,
don't have to run
actually.
for
You
have to be
president, and it's,
45.
the
I
age,
think it is.
I think it's 35
Is it 35?
For
Yeah.
what?
for president.
To be able to
yeah.
run for
To
president.
run as a
Yeah.
representative, all you have to
Yes.
be is 21, I believe. Because I think our youngest representative
Yes.
is 21, and
Yes.
that's
Got to change.
You're
your
trying to
gen-
lower the vote.
Got to change your
Was it
gender. cut your
Pelosi
hair.
said
No,
that
grow your hair.
16-year-olds should be allowed to vote.
that's because they want to. That's because the Democrats want a bigger voter base.
Well, they're not going to get it.
You promised 16
Well, they got all the Hispanic votes and all them illegals and
And people
getting
that are in the
votes.
grave.
Yeah, you promised a
Come on.
16-year-old $1,500
No.
a month, and you see them at the ballot box.
Just because
Yeah,
they're on
big
Social
time.
Security and they get a vote.
Well, we don't educate our children about what it means to have a free market and what free market
Weren't some of those
capitalism is.
ballots last time like half? Seen a lot of them were under or in their grave. I mean,
Yeah, oh yeah, the mail ones that they
yep,
did.
Yep.
So what's the issue then? Okay, so obviously, all right, so we have government and we have to deal with those issues in the here and the now. But the reality is we read the Bible and we know that there's going to be a moment whenever government fails us. And the only thing that's going to be there is the kingdom of God in the end.
Yeah.
So why don't we chase what matters more than we chase what doesn't matter? And that's why I'm trying to point people to the true emphasis, because I know it's so easy to get caught up, even as Christians, in this political game, whenever we're so busy worried about the politics of this world, whenever God says what? In the end, everything here is just going to burn. It's going to be gone.
Yeah, drawn into propaganda and then redirected into something that has
Distraction.
nothing to do with
what he
real.
said is, vote our future according to the word.
Yeah.
We know that kingdom is coming, so vote that way. If God is directing our country, and I say our country because we're sharing it right
He's
now.
directing our path, or at
He-
least we should allow him to direct our path.
Exactly. And that was one of Israel's problems. Let's learn from the past not
Morning,
to do
Susan.
that. And his generation
Susan
has
Burrows.
to learn from our past
Morning, Susan.
and go forward.
Yeah.
Because Israel didn't learn from their past.
That's one very promising thing that I'm seeing among a lot of people that I'm friends with, is that even amongst the men's disagreements that there are politically, we talk. We know how to talk. We enjoy talking, and we have I guess with all the information that we're exposed to, it's hard for us not to talk because we're forced to. It's like we either talk and learn to live with one another, or we become just as polarized as people before us.
Yeah.
That being said, though, I mean, we do know there is coming a day where the government is going to ultimately fail us, because God is going to basically say, hey, you can. It says that God gives authority to the enemy, and that has to come to pass in order for Christ to come back.
Okay, so next time we do an Acts program, let's do it down in the square. Let's have him preach. We'll have another ministry come in and do the music. So I know them, and you know Mark, and then we'll just like do it all day long. But we'll be down. I can see us down there because the same people that have his mentality are the people downtown. Do you understand what I'm saying? I've been down there. I talked to some of these same people that say the same thing he does, and that is exactly what we need and how we can approach this downtown group, guys. They're there. I've heard them.
You also got to have, if you do any kind of event downtown, you have to have
Permit.
event insurance.
Yeah,
and
we got
in order
that.
to get
We
that,
got that. We got that covered.
In order to do that, it's kind
Axe
of
has it covered.
yeah.
We have it.
If,
Through our 501c3, we'll do it.
I mean, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare.
We've done it through Agape, so.
I was just going to say, this is my last thought about this. I mean, that's really
Okay.
okay.
The biggest
so that's
problem is promoting something like that and getting it out there where
I
people
know, but
are
we
gonna
did
know
it.
it's there
And
see
we
it.
fed hot dogs, and we got, yeah.
I think that's really where I think really that is where the church should be constantly, all of the time. But I mean, like, we lose it whenever I think we became so self-absorbed in our government, thinking that somehow that was going to be our savior,
Yeah, let the government take care of it.
instead of
Where's
looking
the church?
to
I've been
Christ.
saying
The
that on our
stone
show.
that has
Where's
the
the
Ten
church?
Commandments on it in the courthouse steps,
Right.
speaking for us for
Yeah.
decades,
But
when it
Thanks,
doesn't really
Ashley.
say anything at all.
You're sweet.
Hey, yeah. Exactly.
I mean, that's where you find the Romans
it's not
12.
true.
It's very loud.
That's where you find the Romans 12 mentality, right? Where it's like, submit to the authority if they don't ask you to do anything that dishonors God. Because your main purpose as a follower of Christ is to reflect him and to build up the body of Christ. I think we've been so busy trying to be a hand in government in the church rather than actually building up the church, rather than focusing on spiritual growth and true pastoring. I think that people have lost that because they've been so worried about everything around them that they've lost sight of where the true power of the gospel is.
Well,
Wow.
yeah. Tanner Gibbs, everybody.
Well,
in
one-
the Peanut Gallery.
Yes.
One more
What a
thing.
sermon.
one more thing.
Okay, we got like a minute and a half.
Well, this is my last thing. Is I was reading
Another
one
last
thing,
thing.
that Jesus, one thing that
Slow
Jesus
close.
said, where he talks about God
Closing
and
3
fire and
times.
brimstone. And I hear the term fire and brimstone.
And in
people,
closing,
people have been mocking it, and I think that it's interesting because whenever you mock God's wrath, you're also belittling the forgiveness and the grace of the gospel.
Yeah.
You can't preach the gospel without understanding God's wrath.
What's the point of the gospel without that?
Exactly. So whenever you hear people mocking fire and brimstone, you're belittling the gospel by belittling God's wrath. You can't take one side of God and not the entire, and not God in himself. That just means you don't like something about God.
so the
He's
Bible
God.
says, Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, trust in the Lord with all thine heart, lean not into thine own understanding, in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he'll direct our paths.
That's exactly what my seed was for the week.
That's right. Seed for the week. Proverbs 3,
I dropped
5, and
that
6.
seed of faith and truth, or not truth, but yeah.
That's good.
All right. Well, I think we're going to go ahead and
Sayonara.
hop on out of here.
Hop, hop, hop.
We got to do the music here. Got to get the music back up. Did you say bon voyage, por favor, please? Have a good trip, please, I think is what he was saying.
You have to talk about topics from the pulpit so we know how to pray and to be aware. That's what Cindy Flowers said. Good thinking.
Steve Schultz says, we can line up at the big box stores. You can line up to vote.
Yep.
So, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us on the Morning Drive today. We'll be back on tomorrow, same time, same channel. Be sure and tune in next for the new Gold Standard with Tony Hammock. And I think I saw his son,
Yeah,
his little son in here.
I was going to Asa Jr.
Ace Jr.
The little hammock.
Little Hammock. I think for him, I'll do the lower voice. Anyways, until then, my friends, God bless you and keep you. We love you. My name is Matt,
My name is Jay.
My name is Steve.
And Troy.
and this has been
The Morning Drive.